And we have a few presentations this evening. And first of all, we'll be starting with a presentation from our Food Services Director, Lisa Mehl. Welcome.
Good evening. President Schreiner, Vice President Garbrick, members of the board, Dr. Wise, and Mr. Garside. I want to thank you very much for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the Food Service Department. I would tell you in the short period of time that I've been with Southwestern City Schools, I can tell that I have a very strong food service staff based on what we have in the office here and then also out in our kitchens. It doesn't matter if we have an early dismissal or a power outage or a cooler goes down or a freezer goes down. Our staff really pulls together and works as a team to make sure that our students are fed, and that's something to be proud of. So I thought I would give you a little background about the last 56 days since I started with Southwestern City Schools. First and foremost, I wanted to get out into all of the schools and make introductions. I was able to meet with the principals, getting out and seeing the different layouts of our kitchens between the high school, the elementary schools, intermediates, and middle schools. And then also, of course, meeting our head cooks for a second time, and then meeting all the cooks that are out in the field. I would tell you that everybody has been very welcoming, and any principals that I have yet to meet, it is on my agenda to get out and make sure that I have met all of them. The next thing to talk about is Meta, which is our purchasing co-op. I did replace Beth on the advisory board there. We've had one meeting so far, and we've also had one food tasting and another food tasting tomorrow. Right now it's in the process of extending the current contract with slight increases due to inflation. So that's something we've been discussing. It's been great for me because I've been able to talk and meet with other food service directors in the area, which I've really enjoyed, which has been great. Also meeting vendors, so GFS, of course, is our prime vendor. I've had a chance to meet with our head person there, also do a meeting with them as well. I brought Christine, my assistant, so she can help me do some of the tastings. We have tastings and get some feedback for that. But the next thing, the biggest thing that's probably coming up with food service is our administrative review, which I will go into that a little bit more on a next slide for that. And then the last thing is just looking at current needs in our kitchens, both now and in the summer, and kind of plan that out. So just a little bit of fun food facts. So on a daily basis, we serve almost 6,800 breakfasts and a little over 13,000 lunches. 70% of the student population is having lunch with us, and 34% of that student population is having breakfast with us. So there's a little bit of growth there for breakfast, what I'd like to see, but I'm also going to go over some other additional slides on breakfast. So one of the big things is breakfast in the classroom. So last year we started breakfast in the classroom. The aqua, we picked 4 schools for that to pilot. The aqua color shows before we did the breakfast in the classroom and the free breakfast. And then the royal blue color shows you the increase that we had once we began that. So as you can see, there's been a huge increase with that program, which has been great. Looking at this year, we did add additional 3 schools to make a total of 7 schools that are doing the free breakfast in the classroom. So we've had a 74% increase based on that, again, which has been great. So the last thing to talk about is our administrative review. Again, that is scheduled for March 6th through the 9th. Due to the size of our district, there's 4 schools that will be looked at for meal observations. All schools will get a lunch observation, and 2 of those schools will get a breakfast observation along with lunch. This is the first year that Southwestern is doing the new administrative review. In the previous years, it's been the CRE and the SMI, so this is a new format of what they're doing. So basically the format is there's a lot of off-site questions that we fill out ahead of time before the review, have a discussion with the state, and then they come out and do the on-site. So it actually is kind of more working together with that. So our 4 schools that will have the on-sites will be Prairie Lincoln Elementary School, Stiles Elementary School, Hope Crossing Intermediate School, and then Central Crossing High School. Myself and Christine have gone out and met with the cooks, gone out into the kitchens and make sure that everybody is set and ready for when we do have our review. So I feel very confident that our kitchens will be ready for the review. Three big areas that are discussed in that administrative review or that we are evaluated on would be a performance standard 1. So that would be all of our income eligibility applications that are filled out, any kind of verification we do, and then counting and claiming. And then performance standard 2 is going to be more along the lines of meal pattern and meal compliance, making sure that we're meeting the requirements for that. Any of your general areas is going to be our local wellness policy, civil rights, any kind of outreach that we're required to do for breakfast or for summer feeding, and that's kind of involved in the general areas. I feel very confident that we're ready for the review. I think everybody's done a really good job pulling together. In our office, we've got all the applications ready based on the 580 applications that we needed to go through and the direct certification. I think that we'll be ready for the state next week, so I'm very excited about that.